Kathy and Louis Kealoha's Hawaii Kai house was sold, and there's actually a profit. So that profit is actually being divvied up among the victims in the federal case, most notably the Taito family.
Correct.
I think it's the niece and the nephew, but
Correct.
they're within the family.
Right.
An attorney, and I feel as though maybe the media was just trying to help that family out, but then they kind of like turned and then they made it seem as though the attorney who might have a higher position to get at those funds was owed $93,000 for legal fees. What are your thoughts on the legal fees versus the family who needs the money?
As a disclaimer, I have a conflict of interest. I previously represented Katherine Kealoha and former Chief Louis Kealoha up to the time they were indicted. I'm familiar with the property. I've been in their home several times. And one of the reasons I had to withdraw from the case was that all of their property was seized and deprived them of the ability to refinance and hire private counsel. So this is even people as successful, albeit as the Kealohas, the government targeted them where they were most vulnerable, which is to seize all their property as evidence of the crime or fruit of the crime they were charged with. Moving forward with the case, you know, there was a mortgage, there was money owed on the mortgage, the property was liquidated, and there was some money in excess of the amount that was owed. But there were legal fees by the bank and their attorneys, and that ended up in a dispute with the attorney representing, or there are several attorneys representing family members who were injured by the Kealohas. And they all have legitimate claims. The issue is going to be, you know, imagine the issue of secured property. Is there a secured debt? Did someone, you know, is someone out their attorney fees? Or in this case, as I said, I think one of the attorney representing the Taitos, the brother and sister, has asserted that the excess money should be given to them and that he intends to go forward. And I basically rattled the sword and said he's going to be, implying he's going to be suing them. My hat's off to him. Be my guest. The problem is, you know, you can't get, you know, blood from a rock. You know, it's there's little to be had. The Kealohas have no funds, and I know that the recently the retirement money is now an issue that Louis Kealoha received from the HPD when he retired. That's going to be a whole ball of wax. Whether they're going to how they're going to recover that money. There's issues regarding Katherine Kealoha's former attorney who defended her on the original civil case against her uncle. Got a defense verdict, a six-figure verdict. He never got paid, but he's owed that money. That may be considered a secured debt. On the other hand, when Katherine Kealoha entered into a plea agreement with the government, she had to, as I understand, as part of her plea agreement, disavow the verdict, the defense verdict in the civil case, and essentially admit that it was obtained fraudulently, which then raises all types of issues about whether her attorney was either aware of that, participated in that fraud, or is even now entitled to any remuneration, any monies from the defense verdict that was obtained fraudulently. So these are interesting issues. Are they going to be resolved with people, you know, threatening to file lawsuits? Not likely. Push comes to shove. At the end of the day, you can get a verdict of $1 million, for example, but if there's no money, it's $1 million you'll never collect. I understand the position. I believe that Ali Silver said that they should be magnanimous, and they, the mortgage carrier, and let the money go back to the two people who were injured. I think that would be a wonderful notion, a great generosity, but banks and mortgage companies are not notorious for being generous nor magnanimous.
Yeah.
Just the opposite. Just the opposite. They want their money regardless, and they resell the property. It's like a used car dealer reselling a car, you know, 3 or 4 times and basically making the car over, you know, repeatedly, benefiting benefiting from someone's economic distress.
Yeah, totally. But I just hope, and I'm just going to throw it out there, I know the game with you attorneys, and I'm going to go ahead and call out something that a lot of people don't talk about, but it's a joke. One of the great jokes that all the attorneys I'm sure have heard way too many times is, you know, an attorney, a 49-year-old attorney dies and is at the pearly gates of heaven. And then, how am I here? Send me back down to earth. I shouldn't be here. This doesn't make any sense. And then like St. Peter or whoever's at the gate says, oh, well, according to your billable hours, you're 164 years old. You know what I mean? The joke is maybe they pad the billable hours. I think, because I don't want to accuse
and all this is going to be I understand what you're saying, and this is typical of the public, viewing this, and that it happens. I mean, people bill accordingly. And in a case like this, given all the players and they're very well polished and well-educated and aggressive attorneys across the board involved in the Kealoha case, anyone billing in this matter better have all their I's dotted, all their T's crossed, and every document to connect to the hours they billed out. Because believe me, this is all going to get reviewed by either Judge Seabright directly or by a special master appointed by Judge Seabright.
Oh, okay. That's a big difference then. That's a big difference from the point I was making.
No, I understand.
Because I was like thinking like,
and
maybe
I don't
he's padding.
disagree with you. I don't disagree with you.
Yeah, maybe he's padding.
In all fairness to billable hours, I went into law first as a prosecutor in California, then here in Hawaii 33 years ago. I don't like doing billable hours. I have, in the course of my 33 years practicing, only a handful of cases have I billed hourly, and I don't like it. I don't like billing clients hourly. Having been a client before becoming an attorney, I remember hiring an attorney when I lived in DC, and I watched a $5,000 retainer disappear, and what I got for it was a 6-page letter explaining that I had no case.
Ouch.
And a bill saying I spent X number of hours, pay me more. That was an enlightening experience. So I don't practice law that way. I feel a certain degree of, no regret, but I feel sorry for my friends who practice in civil litigation or in civil practice, especially in the defense side, who have to bill for every single moment that they're breathing in the office, or sitting in their car in traffic. They're told by their partners, you have to bill for all of this. Hence, you have people billing in a 24-hour day, 48 hours.
Yeah, it's crazy.